It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't even like football anyway. Don't even like it. Hello guys, how you getting on? My name's Aaron Kelly. Welcome back to another episode of The Verdict. Hope you're keeping well. If you do go on to enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. And yeah, let's just get into it. It's a bit of a depressing one today, lads, for many reasons. And we're going to start off with the fact that Arsenal, I think it's done. I think they're going to win the league. There was a part of me there now a couple of weeks ago that was sceptical. I thought Man City were really coming back into it. I thought Arsenal were getting ready for their yearly bottle, but yeah, it looks like it's done now. And that is after a 2-0 win over Everton at the Emirates. Victor Gyökeres and a late breakaway goal from Max Dowman, who I believe becomes the youngest goal scorer in Premier League history. That is an absolutely remarkable feat. A 2-0 win for them. And that is before Manchester City threw away a big chance to keep themselves within touching distance. They drew 1-1 away to West Ham United. Relegation threatened West Ham United, that is. A 1-1 draw at the London Stadium. Bernardo Silva with the goal for Manchester City. And yeah, I just think it's done. I think it would take an awful lot now for Arsenal to not win the league. What are they, 7 or 8 points clear? I know City have a game in hand. I think it's bordering on 10 points clear now at this stage once again. A couple of weeks ago, it was looking like City could get back into it, but Arsenal just look too defensively astute. Once again, it just seems like things are just going their way, you know. Even the other night, it was coming into the last couple of minutes, I thought, they'll score. They'll score. It was getting into like the stoppage time. They hadn't scored yet. It was still 0-0. You just feel like it's going to happen. Even against Leverkusen during the week in the Champions League, you always feel like they're going to do it. And when things are going that way for a team, I think it's probably fair to say they're going to win the league. And I have very little doubts in my mind now. Arsenal will do it. And they could do very well in the Champions League as well. I think they will come back and beat Bayer Leverkusen. Obviously, Kai Havertz's penalty in the last couple of minutes, the last minute, basically the last kick of the game during the week, keeps Arsenal in that tie there. But yeah, they're just going their way, lads. And I hate to say it, it's done. It's done. Sign the papers, carve the name into the trophy. They've done it. Like, let's be honest, they've done it. And, you know, they're probably not the best attacking side, probably one of the worst attacking sides that we've seen that are going to win the league. But what they do have is they have that grit. They have incredible defensive capabilities. They have brilliant players that play in their defence. And you never really feel like once Arsenal go ahead in the game that they're ever going to really throw it away. And that's testament to how good their defence and goalkeeper is. So, look, you got to respect it. You might not like it. Let's talk about the race for top four, or the race for top four. A race that kind of looks like nobody really wants to win. And that is the long and short of it, really. Other than Manchester United, really. They picked up a 3-1 win over Aston Villa, who continue to free fall. Even after their defeat against Chelsea, it looked like they were still had a chance. This was a big game for them, and they fell to a 3-1 defeat to Manchester United. They found themselves level through Ross Barkley, of all people. That was, of course, after Casemiro had given them the lead. Cunha and Šeško then getting United back up front and sealing 3 points for Michael Carrick, whose unbeaten record at Old Trafford is maintained. And here's a question for Man United fans now. Do you stick with Michael Carrick for next season? And I know there'll be a lot of United fans who'll go, well, we've seen this before. They gave Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the contract and that didn't exactly end well either. It looks very similar to that. But with this record, and if he keeps going the way he's going, and if he gets United back into the top 4, top 3, even will be a fantastic finish for them. I know they don't have any Europe or anything like that to be concentrating on in comparison to the other teams that are in the race for top 4. We'll get on to them in a minute. But yeah, I think they're looking very good. They're looking very, very good. And I think a top 3 finish in particular will be a real statement from Michael Carrick. And in my opinion, as a neutral and someone who doesn't have a horse in that race, I suppose, I just don't see how they can't give him that job if he manages to achieve that. But Manchester United fans, let me know in the comments. Liverpool with a 1-1 draw against relegation-threatened Tottenham Hotspur, and they took the lead through a Dominic Szoboszlai free kick, and they should have absolutely should have had more than enough in the tank. They could have gone fourth tonight with that win, Liverpool, if they had managed to see it out. But it's again one of those, especially with a team who have been as dodgy as Liverpool have been this season, particularly defensively. The longer that game went on at 1-0, the longer you kind of thought to yourself, as poor as Tottenham have been, only a point above the relegation drop at the minute after Forest and West Ham both managed to pick up points this weekend. You always felt like there was still a chance. There was still a chance. The Richarlison was looking dangerous, and it was Richarlison who equalised in the last minute of the game. Kolo Muani teeing it up from acres of space, and he made no mistake. He always seems to get a goal at Anfield, doesn't he, Richarlison? Especially with those Everton links, a particularly bad and I suppose unpopular goal scorer at Anfield yesterday evening as of this video coming out. But it's a vital point for Spurs, in the race for survival, I suppose. And it's not really something I expected to say about Tottenham. Like, even as poor as they've been and as long as they've been down towards floating around the bottom half of the table, I've kind of thought to myself, look, they'll get out of it. They'll get out of it. But definitely in the last couple of weeks, my mind has been turned and it's just not got any better for them. And don't get me wrong, like, they are massively threatened by relegation, and they have a massive game coming up next Sunday against Nottingham Forest. That is an absolutely huge game with, well, like I said, 7 or 8 games left in the season. That is, make no mistake about it, a must-win game for Igor Tudor and Spurs. I don't think Igor Tudor will be in charge of Spurs next season, regardless. I don't think he should be anyway, but that becomes now a massive game. Look, a big point to get on the way or on the road for Spurs. They just managed to hang in there, really. Liverpool didn't kick on after scoring that original Dominic Szoboszlai free kick. Very rarely looked threatening. The couple of chances they did have were skied or missed, or just poor decision making in the final third, which has been a common theme for Liverpool this season. They never looked likely to take the game by the scruff of the neck, and Tottenham managed to hang in there, and they got their equalising goal in the last knockings through Richarlison. Fraudulent stuff from Liverpool, and fraudulent stuff once again from Chelsea. I don't think I have any angry energy left in me. I don't know if anyone's seen my short that went up on the Chelsea game on Saturday, but I just have very little left in me, because, like, do they care? Do they care? I don't care. Like, I shouldn't care if they care as little as they're showing. And by they, I mean the higher-ups of the club and the current crop of Chelsea players, if you even want to call them that are wearing the blue shirt at this particular moment in time. It's absolute shambles at the minute. A 1-0 defeat to Newcastle United. Anthony Gordon, I wonder if this is a correct stat, but I heard it was his first Premier League goal of the season. That is remarkable, remarkable. And of course, he's gone and got it against Chelsea. And if you look at the state of the defending, like, the game started off okay for Chelsea. The tempo of the passing was good. We're looking menacing. I thought Palmer started the game relatively well. I thought Enzo was getting on a lot of ball. Caicedo was winning ball in the middle of the park. And then it's one ball from Tino Livramento straight through the Chelsea back line. For some reason, Fofana and Chalobah have just parted like the Red Sea. Reece James is kind of pushed in to try and mark Voltemada. The ball gets played in behind. Joe Willock is in 1v1. Gordon races up beside him. Wesley Fofana, and this is the one thing that, like, you can get bet. You can just, things mightn't go right for you on the pitch. But there's one thing you can give and should be given as an absolute minimum, and that is your 100% effort at all times when you're on the pitch. And Wesley Fofana yesterday, for the whole game, looked like he could not be arsed, and it was never more evident than it was in that opening goal when he just lets Anthony Gordon race on past him over his left shoulder. Joe Willock squares it across and he taps it into an empty Bob Sanchez net. Might as well be an empty net anyway, even when Bob Sanchez is occupying between the posts. And once you fall behind, you never really have any faith that Chelsea are going to get back into it. And the kicker is that Newcastle also, like Chelsea, played in Champions League during the week and actually made a very good account of themselves against Barcelona during the week. However, they look like so fresh. Chelsea looked like they could not be arsed to be out there. Like, I get it. Chelsea travelled to Paris. Great. Newcastle welcomed Barcelona during the week and put up a hell of a shift, and then travelled down from Newcastle to London to play that game and ran off with a 1-0 win. And not only that, it was not even Newcastle's best team. It was far from Newcastle's best midfield, I'll tell you that much. No Bruno Guimaraes. Joe Linton came off the bench. but no Sandro Tonali either. So even Bruno G and Sandro Tonali alone, two fabulous midfielders, two of the best midfielders in the Premier League on their day, neither of those in the Newcastle team. And yet Chelsea, with, on paper, if you looked at the team that Liam Rossinier picked on Saturday, arguably the best team that Chelsea could have fielded, you know. Garnacho on the left, Palmer on the right, Enzo in there with Reece and Caicedo. Like, on paper, I know Chelsea have people out, but like with the team and the available players for selection on Saturday, probably the best team that Liam Rossinier could have posted, and it just did not work. It did not work. And there was a whole chat and dialogue. There was a lot of dialogue about this pre-match huddle that we're doing, and we've been doing it ever since Rossinier came in. They've actually been doing it at the end or at the beginning of the second half as well, just after half time. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's silly looking anyway, but like, Paul Tierney gets caught in the middle of it, and like, it just adds to the banter. Like, it's just ridiculous carry on, and that alone shows how much of a circus this club is. And that's what it is at the minute. It's a circus, and it's not going to improve anytime soon. The best years of Chelsea Football Club, we've seen them. We have seen them. They've been and gone, and it's going to be many, 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 many years before we see Chelsea at the top table of the Premier League or even European football ever again. Like, I think Chelsea, if the English clubs do, if the Premier League does get that fifth spot once again, which I don't know how it's going to work now, considering how poor the English sides are performing in Europe at the minute. If they all get knocked out here in the last 16, where does that leave the Premier League? I'm not too sure. Maybe there's enough credit stored up in the bank from previous years for England to get that fifth spot. But if Chelsea do scrape into a top 4 or top 5 spot, it will have been scraped. Like, Villa are in free fall, as are Liverpool, as are Chelsea. 3 of the most out of form sides in the division at the minute. So it's a poison chalice. It really is a mash-up to see who scrapes that final spot. And I couldn't tell you what my answer is at the minute. All 3 sides are looking absolutely shambolic, and I suppose it's more magnified for me as a Chelsea fan. It's just a joke from bottom to top, from top to bottom. You've heard me rant and rave. That's why I'm not really shouting in this video. I'm just spouting the facts and my opinion on what is going on wrong at this football club. And there's far more things going wrong than there is right. That's all I'll say. Listen, lads, that's where I'll leave it. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like. Let us know how your team did in the comment section down below. And please, if you can, offer me any sort of rebuttal or, I guess, hope for my team between now and the end of the season, because it doesn't look like there's an awful lot of it. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. We'll see you next time. Good luck.